Well, it finally stopped raining. Morning, everybody. My name is Bill. This is Pirate Solutions Forestry, and Danny and I are hanging out near our huge stacks of lumber here that got to get out of here that customers couldn't come and pick up this weekend because it was raining. And they're hogging up the mill yard, so I'm not going to do any cutting today. I'm going to knock out a few maintenance projects. One of them I think is going to be kind of neat. I'll show that to you. One of them is going to be kind of a pain in the ass. And then we'll see what kind of stuff we can get ourselves into this afternoon. There he is, the miscreant. So I'll show you our lumber that's sitting around. These are the 2x12s that we cut the other day, 4-footers and 12-footers to go out to become flower beds or raised beds. We also have Paul Moskovsky's big spruce order here, stickers, all kinds of lumber that I could dream up that he'll use in his landscaping company from the spruce trees that he had taken down next to his house. That one's going to get out of here. We have 4 black oak 4x4s going to Jim for his new house build. We had to steal those out of Highlander Farm. And we have a whole bunch of 4x4s over there going to Highlander Farm. I think there's 22 of them for fence posts. So this stuff, hopefully in the next couple of days, is all going to be out of here so I can get some of my room back here to start cutting Ralph Alfieri's construction lumber order to build his shed and chicken run. So that's what's going on. I'm going to give you a look inside the shed itself because we're going to do something inside the shed today to help me start turning that shed into what I want it to become. This is the sawmill equipment shed that we built out of stuff that we had lying around out here in the yard. You can see all these offcuts and everything. I have to get to that this week. Start edging a bunch of this stuff down and organizing it, and a lot of this stuff's going to end up getting chipped. But I'm going to take you inside here and show you what we got going on so that someday this is going to become the sawmill equipment shed that I want rather than a catch-all for everything. This eventually is going to become my sharpening station. These windows will swing open. Right now they're fixed in place, but I have to put hinges on them. And I've got a bunch of sharp Turbo 7s and Stella Cut bands and a couple of brand new Turbo 7s sitting there and a whole bunch of boxes of Stella Cut bands sitting here. I want to get these hanging up on these walls. And this is what I brought out to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut some dowels down. They're inch dowels. We're going to bore in at an angle and make places up here to hang so we have a place for dull bands and sharp bands and different kind of sharp bands and maybe even a sharp band one over here for small coiled ones. I would thought about putting them over here by the door, but I don't want to walk in and have bands over here where you're walking in. So I think I'm going to stick to there, 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 and there. So I need to put, I think, 4 dowels in. We'll put them at an angle, and we're going to figure all that out. First thing I'm going to do is just toss myself on a pair of gloves here so I don't cut myself up. I think each one of these coils or resharps here's got 3 bands in it, and I want to figure out about how much dowel I'm going to need to hold on to at least 3 bands, say like that, and maybe have a little room for maybe 5. So I think something about, let's say it's going to go a little bit into the wall. It's almost going to split this one in half. I think I want something about that long. So we are going to mark this. Just grab myself a pencil here. I'm going to cut a test one out of the short dowel. Make myself a little mark knowing that this is the way I want to keep it. We're going to cut that off, and we're going to do that out on the bench. And we're going to come in and drill some holes with the auger bit that I sharpened, which is the exactly 1 inch, same size as what the dowels are. So they're going to go in there nice and snug. I'm not going to glue them in. I'm not going to screw them in. I'm going to put them in a little angle. We're going to stick them in about, well, I don't know, 2 inches probably, maybe 3. And they'll be movable. So if I don't like where they are, all I'm going to end up with is a hole in my 2x4. And I can put a dowel somewhere else. We also have to figure out the height. And I want to see how far down they hang to know how high up I got to put these dowels. So we're going to do that, just kind of eyeball it. I would say that looks about right. I'm going to get myself a pencil again. Let's say that I want them off the floor. I'm thinking something like that. So I'm going to make a mark here. So I want to put them in about that high. And then I'll just make them all the same. Whatever that distance is off the top plates, I'll drill all my holes. I also have an angle finder in here. And I'll use that angle, not an angle finder, I'm sorry, my Lord. Can't even speak. Nathan would say that. My Lord, I can't even speak today. I have an adjustable bevel gauge here. So what I'll do is I'll eyeball the angle of the dowel in the wood. After I cut it off, we'll kind of eyeball the angle of what I want it to look like. And then we'll set the adjustable bevel gauge so that when I'm drilling in, I can kind of eyeball the angle and get them all the same. So that's what we're going to do. Right now, we're going to go out. We're going to get our cut station set up outside. And we also got to hang this chalkboard today, too. Got to hang that up. Someplace where I can write my orders down. Haven't figured out where I'm going to put that yet. Probably on this wall over here because I can't bump into it. So we're going to do that too. But right now, we're going to cut some dowels off. With my old Diston back saw, one of the many, this just happens to be the one I use all the time, and just a little old miter block made out of rock maple to cut them off. It just gets them square. I could just do it by eye too, but it helps keep them square. So we're going to get to that. And since Danny decided to move, I'm going to cut them right here. So I'm just going to line this one up. I'll use this one to yeah, it'd be a lot easier if it was clamped down, but it still works. Gives us a nice clean cut. That back saw has almost no set in it. So it's nice when I'm up on the joinery bench working up this high because you can go at it and it kind of plows it out in 2 seconds. But this is our dowel. Wish I hadn't done the one with the tag on it. Poplar. Where was this? Oh, Madison. Made in the USA. Nice. And we're going to go in there. We're going to get our angle set. So we're going to figure out our angle here. We can do this just by eye. I do want to set the bevel gauge so that normally you would register the wooden part on here and then just set your bevel gauge like that. But this is going to be too long. The auger will run into it, so I have to set it opposite. I have to going to do it like this and use this to register the auger on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of pressure on it so that it kind of stays still. And I'm going to eyeball what I want. So they're going to be sitting up like that. I would say just a teeny little angle, something like this. Just want it to angle up so they won't fall off. It looks about right. and we're going to snap that in. Now we got that angle on the bevel gauge here. So when I start drilling in with the auger, I can register this against the auger, make sure that I have the angle right on this. So we'll be able to, when we drill in, we'll be able to register it. Let's say it was like that. Just set it against the auger so that the auger drills in at the right angle. And now all I have to do is go ahead and get myself something to stand on so I can get up about that high. So I'm going to find something for me to stand on here that's going to get me up about a foot off the ground. And hopefully this handle will clear that. It looks like it will. And we can drill ourselves a hole, and we'll stick one of these pegs in there, and we'll see how it looks before we cut up all our other dowels. And if it looks like it's going to work, we'll go ahead and finish it out. And let's auger this thing out. I think I got a chair here. I think this will work to stand on. Hopefully it don't fall down. Didn't want to have to go get a step ladder or something like that. So I'm just going to eyeball the center of the post. I'm going to just eyeball a little bit of angle. We're going to get this auger seated here and starting to cut. I did sharpen this one, so should be in the ballpark of cutting fairly efficiently. Let's just see how that looks to my angle. I just want to come down just a hair. Down just a hair, and we'll drill in a little bit more. I'm just eyeballing the center of the post. I'm going to go in a couple of inches. Check our angle again, make sure we're kind of on angle. I'm drilling pretty straight. Yeah, that looks perfect right there. And let's get it in about halfway. The auger's cutting pretty good. We'll back it out. We'll see what that looks like. And Danny's being a good boy. He's laying right here, right on the porch. Might have to let's grab one of these nails here, see if I can flick some of these chips out of there. If I can blow them out with the blower or something like that. I don't think it needs to be all that. Yeah, that's really solid. I haven't taken away any of the structural integrity of the post here. This won't need any glue or anything. I don't know if you can see how solid that is in there. Yeah, that's seated all the way right there. I think that'll work fine for saw bands right there, and it's over my head so I can't walk into it. And let's hang some up on it. Let's see what these end up looking like. My first thought is that I could walk into the bands almost. They're almost over my head, which is kind of good. I guess you'd have to really get close to the wall and make a dumb mistake, I guess, to walk into them. But I think that'll work fine. I think I'm going to put them all at that height, at that angle, and we'll pull that off out of there so we can cut them all the same length so that they don't look like the barbarians did it. And I'm going to make a mark on my bit at how deep I went. Not that you would ever be able to see it, but just so when I'm drilling away here, I have an idea of how deep I've gone. My thing's seated. As soon as I feel it start cutting again, right there, just grab a Sharpie. I'll make a mark on the bit itself that I'll be able to see. And that's as deep as I'm going to go on each one. So I'm going to measure down to where this one is, or just grab, probably almost do it with the bevel gauge. Oh, works out perfect. So it's exactly from the tip of this to the middle of the bevel gauge. It just works out to be that same height. So I can just put this up there and make a dot. Perfect. Keep my bevel gauge over here. Since I'm here and set up, might as well drill that hole. But sometimes if you get your angle on your cutting edges too steep, it requires too much surface pressure, cutting pressure for that spur, the screw spur, to stay engaged. I'll show you up close what I'm talking about. So if you see that screw spur right there, that needs to go into the wood like a screw. And that pulls the rest of the bit in. Sometimes if these cutting edges are a little too steep, what they'll do is they'll create too much cutting pressure, and that will strip out in the wood. And then unless if I was working straight down, pushing down on it, it would be okay. But because I'm at an awkward angle and I can't get any weight behind it to push it in, that's what's causing the problem right now. If I was up higher, it'd be okay. Oh, wait, it's starting to cut. Hold on. Now it's cutting. I think I can do it. Yeah, the angle's right. Now it's going. And I'm just going to spot where my mark is. Kind of lost my mark on my bit. Almost there. Yeah, I think that's my mark right there. I think I'm there. Now back her out. Just going to take a quick depth measurement and see if I'm the same. I can go in a little deeper. Yep, they're both the same now. So that's perfect. Now we get 2 holes drilled. We can get these bands up off the ground. And let's go cut the other ones. With that no kerf saw there. Stick one in here. Actually, I don't like that red end, so we'll do it this way. All right. And we'll hang some saw bands up there. That's a start. These are Stella cuts. And Turbo 7s. Put the new ones up there. Get my chair out of the way. Stick these new ones all the way back there and then put the resharps in front of it. Stepping over chainsaws. Perfect. So that's perfect. Now all I need is to do one for dull bands. And the dull band one may end up becoming that one because I think I want to put one in there. So I think we're going to put one in there and move those over there and then put dull bands there. I don't want the dull bands on that post because they'll be right up against the workbench, I think. And that post is kind of got a little bit of wane on it, so it wouldn't be the best post to drill. So I think I'm just going to do one right there. So I'm going to knock that one out, and I'll be back at you guys in a minute. So I just videoed putting that last one in right there. I got 2 more pegs. I'm just going to keep them. I will probably, while I have the auger down here, I'll probably put them in up here somewhere to where I can hang anything on them. That one went way faster. I tried to video it. Apparently, I forgot to hit play. That one just went right in. And like I said, I put 2 more up here, and that's going to be all for this iteration of chores today. Look at him. Look at that dog. That's a great dog. Hi, buddy. He's liking the sun. That's gonna do it for this one. Hope you guys are having a great day wherever you are. I'm kind of nursing my back a little bit, but now I get a place to hang bands anyway, and we'll have, like I said, 2 more up here. I'm gonna do them off camera, and then I get to go on to my next chore. My next chore is I've got to clean some grounds in my truck. I've got a weird starting problem in my truck. It starts, but it starts weak the first time, and then after electricity gets moving around the truck because it's sitting a lot, then it starts fine, but it's the initial one. So somewhere I've got some corrosion building up, and I don't know where. I assume it's on the ground somewhere, but I've got to find out. So I got to start tearing stuff apart and figure out where it is. So I stuck those last 2 in there. You can see those 3 there. I don't know if I can show you how well they came out lined up, but they all look like they're at the same angle. They are in the same amount. Now we got places to hang all kinds of stuff. And I want to address one little thing real quick about why come out and do it with those. The reason is I'm a traditional hand tool joiner, sawyer and joiner, and it's quiet and it's nice every now and then to do it with a hand tool. I certainly have inch auger bits and electric drills that I could do it with that would be faster, but it's just fun. Those last 2 holes, the last 2 that I put in off camera there, it took me, I don't know, 2 minutes to do the whole thing and get the posts in there. So it's just fun, and it's quiet, and it makes nice smelling chips, and it's fun every now and then to pull a tool down off the wall and use it. So that's really why I get joy out of it. He's a very tired dog, but he's laying right on the porch, right where I want him. So I'll show you the final piece of the puzzle. I get to hang my earmuffs up there. Got my tool belt off the floor, hanging on that one. You can see those. They came out great. still got that one for saw bands. Like I said, I think dull ones are going to go here, so I think these Stella Cut bands are going to go over there. And I hung up my blackboard. Got my blackboard now. That Connor order is done, and that Corey order is done, and that's the one that we have to cut next, Ralph. That's Ralph Alfieri. Ralph Alfieri Tree Service. And he needs that for his chicken coop. 50 2x4s by 8 foot, and 36 1x8s, and 32 1x2s. I assume he's doing board and batten. I think he's doing something similar to what we have here. Or from the outside. Let's go, not step on Danny. Don't step on Danny. I think he's doing something similar to this shed with a chicken run off it. I think that's the plan. So we got to cut him that stuff. You got to always take care of your tree, guys. Let me say that again. Always take care of your tree, guys. But now we got a good place to write stuff down. We've got a good place to put our saw bands. We got to use some hand tools, which was nice and quiet. And this is where my sharpening station is going to go. My sharpener will go right in the middle, and I will lay out some blocking for bands to hold it at the right height. Maybe a couple of little bearings around there for the band to roll on. And I will have to run power from the house to down here. Unless one of those power companies wants to send me one of those cool power cell things. I know there's a lot of different ones out there. I've never tried one of those before. But for now, I'm going to run power from that window all the way down here so that I can plug in my grinder and grind bands right here, and I can get them out of, if you know where I grind bands, where you guys see me, if you see up on the house, that window up there, the one on the left upstairs, that's the room that I grind my bands in. It's a bedroom, and we turned it once upon a time into a finish shop, so to do like large countertops and stuff like that. We have 4x8 bench up there, which is where all my grinding equipment is. I also sometimes rebuild my chainsaws up there, so a lot of my chainsaws, parts kits and things like that are under that bench, but that's all going to go bye-bye and turn back into a bedroom. At least that's my plan. And that sharpening equipment is going to come down here. Still going to put the hinges on our windows for the summertime here, so I'll do that sometime soon. I have to go buy the hinges first so that these two windows will open up. I do have to come up with a place to put these. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll set them up in these little rafters here. Maybe not. I can't really reach it without stepping on something, so that would kind of stink. Maybe I'll just break that box down, this bundle down. Two of them would definitely fit in there, and then I could find a place, maybe put two of them up there, because two of them will last me a while. But I got to go through all these first anyway. So yeah, the equipment shed is coming around. It's coming to fruition. I will end up with a chair in here, and I got to blow all our chips out from our hand augering our holes, but Danny's in the way right now, so can't blow it all out. But yeah, it's getting better and better and better, and that's kind of my goal, is that I want it to be more seamless so that I'm not keeping everything in packs and having to go to the garage every time that I need something, so on and so forth. So that was the goal of this shed. And of course, some front porch sitting and place for a dog. So just want to throw that in here, and hope you guys are having a great day. Now for Danny and myself, Power Solutions out.